Hey there, welcome back to the channel. I'm Chris, and on this channel we look at gear that helps you in your music making journey. Now today I want to show you the best desk I've came across for all things music. We're looking at the Rega 4-leg standing desk, and while the kind people at Zavvi sent this to me for review, this is completely unbiased, it's all my own views, and they haven't had any input in what gets said in this video, or to be honest, even if a video actually got made. So it's definitely not a sponsored video. They just sent me the desk because they think I'd love it, and they said, hey, let us know what you think about it. So, on the surface, this desk just looks like a desk. It's got 4 legs and it's pretty sleek. It's got a very simple yet quite elegant design. And oh yeah, it moves. Yes, all 4 legs at the same time. That's why this makes it the best kind of desk for a music producer who needs to put a lot of heavy gear on their desk but needs to be able to adjust depending on the work they're doing or even just the time of day so they can be more productive. Right, let's look at how you can actually configure this desk. So from the website, you can see that you can select 3 frame types, there's a black, silver, or white, and there are many options for the desktop surface as well. I actually went for the natural Dijon walnut, which I think is a very classy finish. Now, from then on, you can select 3 types of desk size, and they will even cut you free cable ports if you want them to, and they'll pretty much cut them wherever you want them to as well, which is really cool. So once you've done that, selected those things, you can either choose a couple of tech bundles, which we're going to talk about a little bit later on. Now, the team at Zavvi will arrange your desk to be sent out ASAP and to pretty much any time scale that works for you. But just to warn you, it will arrive on a wooden pallet with lots of packaging to protect it. So be prepared to do a recycling run if you need to. Now, setting up the desk was really easy, and they provide all the necessary parts and tools to install it. There's even a handy video on the website walking you through how to do this, hence why I'm not actually going to show you that in this video. I will, however, link it up there somewhere though. So here is a shot of the finished desk in my space without anything on it. And I have to say, it looks pretty damn nice. Do you not think so? This would look great in the office of an executive, or maybe even like an art gallery and a fancy studio, or in my case, in the loft at home. So let's get it loaded up. I have quite a lot of peripherals and bits and bobs on my current setup. So we'll start with the stuff that's going under the desk. Firstly, the brain of the entire setup is my Mac Mini M4 Pro. It's going in a 3D printed holder that I got off Amazon, and I'm going to screw that directly under the desktop. So that's always going to be tucked away nice and neat there. I'm also thinking about installing a media card slot on the front underside of the desk beside the 4-way memory controller, but I haven't quite found one that I like yet. So the search continues. Now we also get the large cable management tray that runs through the middle of the underside, and that holds kind of a lot of loose cables and bits and bobs and just keeps them from getting in the way when the desk is being operated. Now on the top, we've got the bulk of the equipment. I've got this kind of overhead crossbar set up that I can use to attach cameras and lights and other accessories and just random things, which minimizes the need for extra stands, and it also keeps some of that clutter off of the desktop. I've got 2 speakers here for monitoring sound and mixing music, and there's my main MIDI keyboard here as well, which I use to play MIDI sounds and all kinds of other effects and stuff. I've got an audio interface here. I've got my microphone that I'm chatting to just now. It's got a boom arm here with a cable managed under the cable management tray going back into the audio interface. I've got my Stream Deck here on the left, and I've got my digital audio workstation controller here as well. So lots of peripherals, like I just said. I've also got a hard drive and a hub at the very back there. And just off to the side here, which you might not see, I'll have to, in fact, you can see it in the R7 camera, It's my multi-view for the A10 Mini Pro, and that's doing all the recording for the cameras and all that kind of stuff. So that is everything. I've obviously got my main screen, but the main screen is attached to the wall. That is not attached to the desk. So it stays put all the time. Doesn't matter what's going on and doesn't matter where it's going on. So I mentioned the tech bundles earlier on, so I just want to talk about that now. Now, Savvy sent me everything that they have regarding this desk. So let's break it down. Now you get two bundles. There's one called the Boost bundle, and that gives you a cable tray and a 4-way memory controller. Now the cable tray is great, although it's a little bit fumbly to install if you're doing it on your own. So grab a mate and get them to help you. It'll take 2 minutes. It's no bother. The 4-way memory controller is a proper must if this is going to be a desk that multiple people use and work from throughout the day, weeks, months, and things like that. Because it lets you save 4 different working positions, which is really cool. Now, in my case, I tend to go back and forth between just 2 positions. The first is this one just now, which is set at a comfortable sitting working position. It's really great for typing, playing keys, getting to all my peripherals as I need. And the second is what I like to consider a comfortable keyboard playing angle for when I'm playing in proper parts for a song and things like that. So if I use a memory controller by holding button number 2, and we're just going to move to that right now, and hopefully nothing breaks. Cool. So you can see now it's quite high if I'm just sat, but if I move to my stood position, you can see that it's much more comfortable for me to play the keyboard here at a really good angle. I can pretty much do anything I need there. So that's quite nice. And then let's use that memory controller again and get back down to my sit position. Bosh, really easy. So you can see I'm just pressing and holding the key for whichever saved position I want it to return to. It's really easy to set those. You just find a position that you would like to save by using the up down arrows, and then press and hold the S button next to the screen here, and then it'll flash and you can just select whichever program button 1, 2, 3 or 4 you want that to save to. So there we go, nice and simple. Now, secondly, there's the Ultimate bundle, which is the Boost plus a Bluetooth app controller, an in-desk charger, and under-desk power. Now, the Bluetooth controller works really well, and it gives you access to the app, which does help in setting up the desk, because the very first time you plug it in, you've got to perform a reset procedure so that the entire desk gets properly calibrated. So I reckon that's definitely worth it. Now, the in-desk charger is great, to be fair, because it's got a power port and a USB, really handy. What I don't like about it is the power connection style that they've used to make this happen, because it links with the underdesk power supply. So it's like a connected power supply, which on the face of it sounds really good, but I've found it to be quite cumbersome and it just feels cheap. So I'm not sure if it's a very well made peripheral. And because of that, when I was installing it, I actually broke a few of the teeth that hold the chassis to the main frame together of the underdesk power unit. So that now kind of just like doesn't really sit properly and hangs a bit. So I'm not really happy with that. I think I'm just going to buy something off Amazon myself and just fit something else, because you get so many more options that way as well. Which, yeah, I think it's just easier. You can, as well, you can get little multimedia card slots that go into those cable trays and stuff like that. So that's really cool. Anyway, before I give my final thoughts on this, I just want to say how incredibly amazing the guys at Zavvi have been with me. One thing a lot of producers need often is a drawer for their music keyboards to be able to pull it out when they need, play some tunes, and then pack it away. And when I asked them about this, they immediately made that an option by cutting a smaller piece of the same desktop material that I'd ordered and just sending that out for me. So don't be afraid to get in touch with them if you've got specific questions or requests, because I'm sure they'll be able to help you. Now that basically brings me to the conclusion here. Firstly, this is a premium piece of equipment. It's a really expensive desk, okay? But that's why I think it belongs in a music studio, because the kind of equipment we use is often heavy, it can be expensive, and you want your desk to be able to cope with anything you put on it. So I think, it's worth spending the money on a desk in the initial outlay. You'll have it forever, to be honest. Also, if you want a standing desk in your workflow, then I really cannot recommend this enough, because it is so strong and so stable. With the 4 legs, it does not move a millimeter. Anyway, so look, hey, my studio space is very much still a work in process, but I wanted to show you this aspect of my setup today because I'm so happy with how it's turned out. So keep an eye on my channel for a future update on my studio rebuild. But for now, I've been Chris. This is the Rega 4-leg standing desk, and I'll have a link for it in the description if you do want to buy it. And if you haven't already, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so that you know when the next video drops. Take care, thanks a lot, see you in the next one.